Hi, this is Paul Palmer. Today I want to talk to you about follow-up. Now, in the pharmaceuticals, you have a lot of systems and processes, and there's a lot of tracking, and there's a lot of spreadsheets, and there's a lot of different ways that you're doing things. So, for example, in a project, you have project meetings. You often have them once a month, maybe you have them once a week. But why do you do that? Well, really, it's to follow up and make sure people are doing their actions. When what really should be happening is that everybody should know their actions. They should be completing their actions on time. And the only time that you need to get in touch is when something doesn't go right. And then they need the input. Deviations, tracking things that have gone wrong, dealing with things that have gone wrong and then fixing them. So the right people to be involved should know about the deviation up front. And they've got their actions to do, they've got the investigation to do, and move it on to the next stage in the process. So why do they get stuck? Usually on somebody's desk waiting for somebody to sign. Kappa, corrective action, preventative action. So you meet together, you write it up on a piece of paper, then you write down what's the next stage, and then it gets stuck again. Why does it get stuck? Well, somebody has to complete the action, but it's not really visible to them because somebody else has got the form at the moment, so they don't do it. What else? Updates to SOPs. Somebody needs to review them. Somebody needs to sign them off. And then you need to get them issued as well. And then, of course, there's a training to go with that. Now, all these different processes, trying to track them on a spreadsheet, that's hard. Piece of paper, even harder. So how do you do it? Well, the best way to follow up is to learn from email marketers, in my opinion. And you get some system to automatically follow up. And then once you get to the point where the follow-up should have actually worked and the activity should have been complete, but it hasn't, then you escalate. You go to the next level. And the way to do that in pharmaceutical business is with an electronic quality management system. Now, I've tried a few, and the ones that I like are the ones that reduce the number of transactions. So there's actions where you've got something that doesn't really need it, but because the system's set up in a certain way, you have to do an extra activity. So the customizable ones are good. Or you get one that's off the shelf already, that's already got built into it the minimum number of transactions to get through the process. And you review it, and you see that it fits in with your process, and then you use it. Now, what you don't want to do is to have somebody manually following up and the system printing a report to say, right, these 50 people haven't done what they were supposed to. So you're going to have to go and talk to 50 people. Well, that's not the way to do it, is it? If you've got an automated system, you really want the automated system to do the job for you. You want them to identify who should have done it by when and follow up with them on email, on a message on the dashboard. I actually prefer the dashboard, the pop-up messages on the dashboard rather than email, because if you get too many emails from the same outside source on an EQMS, then there's a risk that your internet service provider, your ISP, is going to then flag it because it's not being opened by loads of people as spam. And then you lose the activity because nobody can see the actions that they should be doing. So really, I prefer the ones that pop up on the screen. Everybody logs in at the beginning of the day and they do a large proportion of the work on it. And then they don't miss the actions. So that comes to the next point, integration. So you want all these different systems to be integrated and you want them to be central to the running of your business. And that way, because you're always sat on it, you don't miss them. And because you don't miss them, you know what you should be doing rather than, I don't know, being distracted by somebody else. And you can get on with it. And then, what's the big benefit? No more follow-up. You don't need to follow up everybody else, and they don't need to be following up you. Okay, so you still have your meetings and discussions and planning and the strategy, but at least it's something that you've saved. And if you think about it, if you've saved that across the whole organization, maybe you've saved, say you've got, for round numbers, let's say you've got 100 employees and you save half an hour a week, but that's half an hour a week times 100. So that's 50 hours. So that's more than a full person's salary every week. So how much do you think you can afford to spend to implement a quality management system that replaces the manual follow-up with a system that reminds everybody so nobody ever forgets? I'll leave you that one for now. And if you'd like, I can help you look for the right system for you. And then, of course, help you implement it. Okay, that's Paul Palmer. Talk to you soon.